This is a frozen trap, which is seemingly a Sonic Advanced creepypasta. So, well, let's just get into it. November 15th, 2014. Dear Diary, I recently bought myself a Game Boy Advance SP off of Amazon to bring back some memories from my childhood. It pleased me that the previous owner was a fan of Sonic like I was, and included the Sonic Advance trilogy. All three games came in their original boxes, which really took me back to when I was younger. I can't wait to play these games again. I used to play them a lot in my free time. My parents were always bugging me though, telling me to go outside or help them with something I wasn't interested in. Eva, go outside. Eva, put that game down and come help me move the stressor. It always annoyed me. Whenever I finished up doing whatever my mom and dad wanted me to do, I'd race back upstairs to my room, dive into my bed, grab my Game Boy, and fire up the game I was playing again. I'm 17, so it'll be a little different this time. I opened the box of Sonic Advance and took out the cartridge. Almost instantly I dropped it. I felt a chill run down my spine when I picked it up, like sticking your fingers into the snow on a cold day. Okay. I put the cartridge back in its box and played Sonic Advance 2 instead. I was trying to stay focused, but I kept wondering about the Sonic Advance cartridge. Why did it give me a chill when I picked it up? November 16th, 2014. Dear Diary, I took the Sonic Advance cartridge out again, only to be greeted with the same bone-chilling feeling as yesterday, and put it back in its box. Now I knew something was up, but whatever was going on with that game, I didn't want to find out. It's just really cold, or what? I went out to GameStop today and bought a copy of the game from them. Nothing unusual happened as I held it in my hand, so when I got back home, I put it in my Game Boy and fired it up. It was an enjoyable playthrough. And late that night, I decided to stay up and do what I love for amusement. Keeping Amy underwater in Ice Mountain Zone. I don't know why, but I seem to What? I don't know why, but I seem to enjoy creating scenarios where Amy is trapped underwater. What? Okay, what the fuck? November 17th, 2014. Dear Diary, the Sonic Advance game that came with the Game Boy is starting to creep me out. As if by magic, the box art of the game changed overnight. Everything is the same except Amy's fur color changed from its traditional pink to an icy blue. Her outfit was blue and even her eyes were blue. How did that happen? How could the box art of the game change like this? I'm probably just imagining this and I need to calm down. And there's an image of the box art. December 1st, 2014. Dear Diary, my curiosity over that game has been killing me these last few weeks. I try to ignore it all day long, but it's like this voice in my head shouting at me, demanding that I play this game. It's saying that there's no other way to satisfy my curiosity. Could it be right? December 7th, 2014. Dear Diary, I can't take it anymore. I'm going to play the game. I have to know what's going on. Eva's POV. For the third time now, I opened the box of Sonic... Whoa. I opened the box of the Sonic Advance game and took the game out of its box, again feeling a chill in my fingers. I braved the chill it gave me and quickly inserted the game into my Game Boy. I prepared myself for the worst and then turned it on. It did a traditional Game Boy Advance boot up. The opening cutscene and title screen were spot on. There's absolutely nothing out of place. I then felt an overwhelming sense of relief it started a new game as Amy rose. It was an enjoyable playthrough that brought me back to the days of my childhood. Then I reached Ice Mountain Zone. I then decided to have some fun and made Amy stay underwater. I was enjoying the scenario I was creating in my head until the time hit 9:59.99. Instead of the game's traditional time over death sequence, Amy froze like an ice cube in the water, and the screen faded to black. I was then respawned at a checkpoint above water, even though I was sure I activated one underwater. Drowning fetish? Now the game is doing strange things. It says the timer setting to 0. It stayed at 9:59.99. And when I looked at Amy, her sprite was doing something I'd never seen it do before. Shiver. She was hugging her arms, frantically rubbing them with her hands in a futile attempt to stay warm. I pressed right and Amy walked right, continuing to hug her arms. I led her to the water, and when I walked down the slope to go into it, I was met with a nasty surprise. Amy slid across the top. It was frozen. I tried to break the ice by using Amy's hammer, but it would not break, or even crack. I then led Amy away and tried to find some other way to get through the level, but I could find no such route. Amy was still shivering. Maybe I should try to warm her up, I thought to myself. With that in mind, I led Amy around what of the level I had access to and looked for anything that might warm her up. Nothing stood out. Amy was starting to shiver more violently. Not knowing what else to do, I led Amy to the wall where she sat down and curled up, pulling her dress over her legs in another attempt to stay warm. I decided to come back tomorrow to try to figure this out. As I lowered my finger towards the power switch, though, a text box appeared on the bottom of the screen, and it read, "Please don't go, I need your help." Was that Amy saying that? I looked at Amy and her sprite was staring back at me with a pleading face, and it looked as though she was about to burst into tears. I didn't begin to have second thoughts. I thought about it, but I decided against it. It's just a game, I told myself. It doesn't mean anything. With that, I flipped the switch and turned the game off. December 8th, 2014. Dear Diary, I decided to play the game again. I grabbed my Game Boy and turned it on. To my surprise, it loaded to exactly where I was yesterday and skipped the boot up, opening cutscene, title screen, and main menu completely. I looked at Amy and I was horrified at what I saw. Amy looked exactly like she did on the box art. Her fur was icy blue, her outfit was blue, and her eyes were blue. I tried to make her move, but I was greeted with a text box that read, "Amy's legs are numb." After about a minute, Sonic walked on screen, and the time started to count down from 9 minutes 59 seconds, and the game began to play like a cutscene. Amy jumped up and threw her arms around Sonic. "Amy, why are you so cold?" Sonic asked. "What happened to you?" "I've been trapped here all night," Amy replied. "I'm cold." "Well, let's warm me up then," Sonic assured her. Amy clung to him more tightly and Sonic took a seat with her. Amy's color was starting to return to normal. I was jumping for joy as I watched Amy grow warm again. Then the time hit 0. Sonic disappeared. Sonic disappeared and Amy's sprite returned to the way it looked when I started the game. But this time she was laying on the ground motionless. It was then when I realized what was going on. Amy had been hallucinating. Amy was dead. She froze to death. Then the screen slowly faded to black. 3 words appeared on screen that read, "You killed her." After reading this, I pressed A. The game went back to the title screen. I went to Time Attack and scrolled over to Amy. Her sprite was frozen and it read, "Frozen by Ava, December 8th, 2014, instead of Amy Rose." I shrieked in terror and shut the game off. I took the game out and put it back in the box. Amy was frozen on there as well, and non-existent on the box of the other 2 games as if she didn't exist. In a panic, I loaded up Sonic Advance 2 only to find the same message. Frozen by Eva, December 8th, 2014. I tore the game out of my Game Boy and put it back in its box, and then grabbed all 3 Sonic Advance games and took them out to the garage. There I set each cartridge out of the garage floor, took hand of my brother's metal baseball bat, and smashed each cartridge. And then shoveled up the shattered remains of all 3 cartridges and threw them in the trash can along with their boxes. No one else is going to play these games. I feel like I was forgetting something though. The other Sonic Advance game I bought from GameStop. I rushed up to my room when to find it was gone. I looked everywhere in my room but it didn't turn up. I hope no one finds it. I'm sorry, Amy. Well, that was a story. I don't know what to say other than fucking just the fucking whole thing of I seem to enjoy creating scenarios where Amy is trapped under water. That's so fucking weird. You don't just casually mention that you like drowning people. That's fucking weird. Fucking so fucking funny. And then there's the fucking, I was enjoying the scenario I was creating in my head. You were enjoying it? You were enjoying it? And then you had the gall to say, I'm sorry, Amy, at the end of the fucking story, after you say you enjoy drowning her in Ice Mountain Zone. I don't know about you, but I think you deserve the spooky ice demon haunting you. I don't know. Anyways, goodbye.